What's up, everybody? Welcome to Tub Takes. This is a video podcast, definitely video. If you're listening, you're missing out. A video podcast where we talk about what's been making waves in the VGC scene. And today I'm joined by my co-host, Adi.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Tub Takes, the latest and greatest, the podcast where we talk about the latest and greatest happenings in Pokemon.
I would change the category, guys, but I don't know if we can compete in the hot tub pools and beaches category. I think Scarlet and Violet's where we're going to be able to find viewers.
You know, if you are a little confused because you're watching on YouTube, exclamation point YT in chat, it's because what is today's date? It is April 1st. So
true.
Yeah.
Okay.
This one has been 58 episodes in the making, and we're happy to finally live up to our name.
Yeah. If we're the lore, the people wanting to know the lore, why we're called Tub, I don't feel like explaining it. So
No, we definitely have to explain it.
No.
It goes back to
backstory.
Honestly, it's somewhat ties into the
perfect
topic of this week. Just real quick, by the way, we'll be uploading this later on YouTube, and yeah, I can't do the exclamation point YT, but if you do exclamation point YT in the chat, you can find out where the YouTube channel is. Anyways, yeah, the quick backstory of why we're called Tub is back in 2019, another restricted format. You were allowed to use 2 restricteds, and there was a running joke that Ray Ogre players pee in the tub. And so we named our voice call the tub, and we were like, yo, I'm hopping in the tub because I'm a Ray Ogre player or whatever. And then we just kind of made that our whole branded name. That's
the joke just kind of grew out from there. Yeah.
That's the short of it. But anyways, stuff that we're going to be talking about today. There was the Global Challenge that just happened, the Global Challenge 3. So we already have the results of that. They've been very quick about it. We also have the new format was announced, and we're going to be previewing EUIC. I might jump around because I feel like we're going to want to spend more time talking about Regulation G, especially as 3 people who are not attending EUIC. So I might do that in the middle and then round out with Regulation G, end with the best. But let's talk about the 3rd Global Challenge that just took place over the weekend. It finished, and it looks like Edu takes another one and wins this one with basically a variation of the balanced teams we've been seeing. Usually it's a Landorus in the Goldengo slot, but this time around it was the Goldie, otherwise Firewater Grass, Chien-Pao, Raging Bolt. Obviously a very strong core.
Yeah.
I mean, he's been running this team. He ran this team at Liverpool Regionals, right, and got top 8 with it or something like that. So, I mean, I think it's pretty much the same team. He's just been grinding out the format, and he's obviously a phenomenal player. So I'm not surprised. I'm actually a little more excited about what Desi used in number 2.
I do want to say I actually did a bit of misleading because I think Edu was probably doing some misleading when he was using this team. You would look at this and think that it's Water Ursh. I think I actually heard it was Dark. And so I think it was Dark Urshifu and like Clear Amulet Chien-Pao. Some tricky text there that might not be super straightforward based on how the team looks in team preview. I love that we have Urshifu still, and when even though this Pokemon is obnoxious in open team sheet best of 3, it's also closed team sheet best of 3. It's a guess which form. Love that. Desu didn't give much information about the team, but he is using the Tinglu Dondozo archetype that has been kind of picking up both in mostly actually in Japan in the best of 1 scene. It was doing very well at the end of the last ratings season as well as the 2nd Global Challenge. Desu, using that for a solid finish here, but not giving any other details.
Mm-hmm. And I mean, if you look at the top, if you look at the top few placements, a lot of these, especially Western players, are European, and so I'm surprised that Edu even reeled his team in before EUIC is coming up next weekend. But yeah, I think a lot of these top players are going to keep it secret if they're going to that event.
Yep. Yeah, we see Tarn in 4th, likely going to be at EUIC, not saying anything about the team that he's using, and Desu, keeping it under wraps aside from the, most broad parts of the archetype. Sun making another deep run. I remember it did well in the first Global Challenge, I think. And so this is a bit similar to some of the teams we've been seeing. The Hisuian Lilligant has been like a Venusaur on certain teams. It's been a Ogerpon Cornerstone on certain teams like this. But this is another way that you can run it on a Sun team. I actually don't know if this team usually runs Raging Bolt either, but not terribly important. It's just Sun offense with the Giraffe. With that, though, Marco Fierro, I know Marco Fierro said that he recorded his run and he's going to upload it later, but he said he was really good practice for EUIC, so likely using something that he's going to be debuting this weekend. Desu also, funnily enough, said that like he was first until like 20 minutes to go, and so Edu actually must have passed him at the last minute. That's pretty insane.
Eddie was tweeting about it too. I think he said that he was second with 2 games left, had a DC, and then won the last game and managed to get to first by a point, it looks like.
God damn. The 11th place team with Snow does make a bit of sense to me. As soon as I saw Snow, I was like, it is a 2, and Dozo players are going to love putting that on as a 2 on their 2, So Aidenson and Glamora, a little bit less of a 2-2-2, but yeah.
No, but this team was everywhere. I mean, I don't know where it came from, but if you played the GC, you probably saw not exactly this team. There was a Roaring Moon on most variants of it, I think over the Incineroar, but otherwise these exact 6 were just everywhere. It was always Mortal Spin, Glamora with I think Toxic Spikes. I played it twice, and yeah, it was just I don't know why, I don't know where it came from, but it was super common.
We were talking a lot about Europeans, but it looks like Paul Chua had a strong finish with 20th overall. Paul is the reigning champion, right? So somebody to be watching out for this weekend. Other than that, scrolling through, are there any other teams that we should probably be mentioning or talking about? Oh wow, I love this 2-2-2. Torn, Ursh, Pow Knight, Snow. And 27th, gosh, 2-2-2 is everywhere. Everyone hopping in the tub, I love it, by the way. This is so great. Everyone redeeming the hop in the tub. Agati running 2-2-2, like actual 2-2-2. Also did well at EUIC last year, the runner-up. So definitely some players looking to see a repeat performance at EUIC.
And one Pokemon I see that keeps popping up, I'm scrolling down, is Archaludon, especially between 49 and 52. There's 3 of them, but I know there's a lot of people running Archaludon as well. And yeah, I got to talk about it because I read it too, and I kind of came to the same conclusion. This guy, I don't know if you noticed, there was I'm trying to find the example of the team. It was the Bronzong Archaludon team that was everywhere. I know a couple of people used it to qualify. That was the team that Colonel Bete posted on Twitter, and I think won a Japanese tournament, got 12th in the last Global Challenge with. I think I mentioned it in the last time takes. I beat it twice as well in my Global Challenge run. And that team is sturdy. But I know Tiago Lazzani, who the second at LAIC was running Stalwart, and I also know that I ran the Stamina, and most people ran Stamina in best of 3, and so it's one of those Pokemon where you have to account for all 3 abilities, and so you have to play around it in a lot of different ways, and I think it's really chaotic in best of 1. We saw a lot of them do very well. I saw a lot of them. I saw a lot of rain teams and a lot of not rain teams with Archaludon when I was playing in my Global Challenge run.
Yeah, Aaron Brock, for some reason not listed in the standings, Clippers, ran the team I think Adi's referring to, the Bronzong Archaludon Banded Lando team. It did well at some offline tournament in Japan, I believe. We might have talked about it in a past Tub Takes, but yeah, that team inspired a lot of people to try out different Archaludon sets because it's a bit more of a flexible Pokemon than people give it credit for, especially in closed team sheet. It has a lot of tricks it can pull off. Really cool Pokemon. Comfy on the 52nd place team. I think that's pretty lit. And then Hard Sun on 54th. That's pretty fun. Clefable, Glaceon. Yo, we don't need Articuno. Glaceon's just better. Okay.
No one tell Michael.
True. He is a big Glaceon fan. And yeah, I think other than that, we'll probably see some other pretty strange teams, but definitely check out Liberty Note if you want to learn more about these teams. You can go and check out people's Twitters if they linked rental codes. I think I also opened it up here, but if you use this hashtag, which Liberty Note tweeted out, you can find people like sharing their results, their rentals, their teams, and whatnot. And eventually, people will probably be posting team reports as well. This was the final tournament to qualify for the next stage in Japan's national cycle, so people will be probably inclined to just like share everything that they've worked on. I think the next stage is going to be Regulation G, if I'm not mistaken, that Japan Nationals. So there's the format's going to be so drastically different. People could probably just like say what they used, talk about their team reports, and it'll be a good learning experience for a lot of people.
Yep.
Wait.
Did Alex, did you play the GC at all?
I did not. I did not play it at all. And Nick also missed sign up again. Nick, I think you've missed twice besides the time that you streamed.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I just forgot to sign up by like 15 minutes to an hour. The whole having to have a team to register thing just makes me delay signing up in case I'll like actually make something and then I just forget to do it like right before the sign up.
Yeah, it is kind of
So
lame.
that's gotten me twice. So I do miss that feature of the Gen 7 Global Challenges where you could just sign up and then lock in a team at the start. But I mean, it's entirely on me. I'm completely tuned out of the regulation though, so that's why I've been catching a little nap.
No, I feel you on that.
Teams.
I've also moved on entirely from Regulation F. The F stands for fun. Anyways.
Fun. F is for friends who do stuff together. Right?
Yes. James asked a good question though. So, quick question: who are you guys taking the tub from?
No, that's just a phenomenal question, James.
I honestly don't know if I'm ready.
The hot tub category from the evil women who controlled it during Women's History Month. How about that?
Yeah, of course. What Adi said. I don't know if I agree or disagree, but I'm going to say yes. The F stands for forgetting Raging Bolt. I don't think Raging Bolt's going to go anywhere. I think that guy's going to be good in the next regulation. Oh yeah, I had the results, but I think I have to go open it in the tub doc. But I think
it's a spoiler on that one, but Raging Bolt is a good Pokemon.
It's true. Now, yeah, the results are here. I couldn't open it up on the Play Pokemon page because I didn't sign up, so I don't think it'll let me look at the tournament because I didn't enter it for some reason. But yeah, like here's the actual people that earned championship points. It's not too interesting, but it's like honestly something to look at for when we're picking our smart monies later. We'll be looking at past tournaments and stuff like that.
And I pointed out, EU, a lot of Europeans in that top 16. So EUIC coming up, I think they really try hard at this one, and I wouldn't be surprised to see them do well.
Now, I think let's actually, because Regulation G is going to be the most interesting thing to talk about on this. Let's actually preview EUIC. Now I know we're only 15 minutes in. It feels like we're flooring through this, but also we are very sweaty. We should not have probably done hot tubs. I was very worried because Nick was like, "It's gonna be cold by the end," and I was like, "You're right. I should make it really warm." And now I'm cooking.
It's gonna be cold by the end.
It will.
Starting it hot is absolutely the move. We can revisit this point in an hour.
You're right. Okay, so let's preview EUIC. It's going to be a big tournament. Do we actually know how many people are playing in this in Masters? Is it like 1,100 or something?
Does Victory Road have it? I thought they had the cap.
I'll scroll to see, but up top it says undisclosed or something. Maybe I'm not looking at the right section.
Maybe I don't know. Maybe they just never disclosed it.
Yeah, if somebody in here signed up for EUIC, if you could let us know around exactly how many players are signed up. It'll probably end up being juniors, seniors, masters combined, but it's still a pretty good ballpark. Now, this is going to be 1,100 was the total. Okay, thank you, Soeb.
Cool.
Yeah, so
that's a good number because the 800 masters is the number for 6 rounds of Day 2 Swiss, and I think also for top. And we also easily hit top 256 championship points. So that's a cool number to hit. I think it's the biggest tournament ever. Might overtake Charlotte. But yeah, there was a lot of demand for it. I know a lot of people missed out still, which is crazy given that this is potentially the biggest tournament ever.
Yeah, I'm hoping that they next time around continue to make it even bigger. I hope the demand stays this way. It's really awesome to see the tournaments getting bigger and bigger like this. Um, and yeah, Adi already mentioned, but 6 rounds. That means it's going to be a grueling day for everybody. The finals will be played on the last day, so technically your Saturday is equivalent to like a regional Sunday. You'll be playing the same amount of rounds if you're making it all the way to the finals. But you will have that one more set on the following day, which I know Nails and I are big fans of seeing finals played a day later. It's really cool. Love a well calculated and thought out set. The matches are super interesting when the players know exactly what to do every turn.
Every finals that happens 19 hours after semifinals always ends up just as a phenomenal set of Pokemon that has like a lot of give and take between the players, and definitely isn't just one person figuring out they have matchup advantage and pressing it the entire time.
So much uncertainty.
Well,
Yeah.
if both players, if both players agree to like go out clubbing together, right, and don't leave at the same time, then I think it actually is fair.
I think
Yeah, no,
I've
like that's the best way to do finals is they both just hang out together from like end of semifinals until the next day, and they just like have a good time. They like load up Randats ladder. They just play birds. Like I don't know.
yep.
Just do, uh, have fun hanging out with each other. That's the way that you actually get a good finals that looks like a Pokemon set. The way that they have it right now, it's just not. It's fundamentally different from every other set of the tournament.
It is. It is. Not a big fan, but obviously that's not going to be changing anytime they love their championship Sunday. So,
That's
with
so
that,
lame.
with that though, we'll see though. There's a lot of different teams in Regulation F that I feel like that you could still see a decent like 50-50 matchup from two players that know their teams in and out. But yeah, we're not.
It's going to be a small 50-50 matchup. They're just going to be doing either the same thing all 3 games,
Yeah,
or
true.
just Nash Equilibrium Simulator, or you just are supposed to go for this mode some percent of the time, this other mode some other percent of the time, and like it still is just a pretty solved game regardless. Like,
thank you so much for mentioning that, Mr. Darth Bear. I actually forgot to put that in the topics doc. We are getting the world states in the closing ceremony. Such a garbage decision, man. Like, a lot of people have pointed this out, and I am obviously no expert on the full logistics behind this, but like when you announce the world states at the previous the worlds before, surely you have the convention center booked for the weekend that you're going to be hosting it, and there's probably not any more like decisions to be made about what the dates are going to be. So I don't know why they don't just announce the dates basically a year in advance so people can actually coordinate their travel plans. And they've had times where they've delayed and waited forever to announce the dates, but this time feels like the most offensive because they are kind of like making it a marketing like big deal type thing where they're like, oh, look out for the EUIC closing ceremony. That's where we'll reveal it finally. It's like, this is actually just grief for everyone because they the flight prices have gone up hundreds of dollars every, weekend that they put this off.
So no, you're looking at it wrong. So you know how there's the massive surge of interest to sign up for internets and regionals, and you have to get in right as the signups open. This is the same thing, but with flight prices. If you don't get in there like within the first minute, the airlines are going to notice a surge of Hawaii flights being booked, and you're just going to like be out a couple $100 extra. So
yeah,
this is just the same type of race that they do for regionals.
You're saying that they have some kind of.
We have that for Worlds as well.
They have
Worlds is just, despite being a qualification tournament where like months in advance if you're there, you still have to be fast on the trigger to get to the tournament.
You're saying that they have a partnership with the hotel and flight companies so that they can just get their extra money instead of people booking in advance.
The hotels I can see the flights. I don't.
No, I mean I'm not trying to say there's actually any big conspiracy, Adi. I'm just joking around. But
no, but I don't think the flight prices are actually going to change significantly once
You
the world
think?
states are announced. It does suck that like it is this late. The prices are more expensive than they were, a month ago potentially. But
No, I think that like flights from LA to Hawaii are going to spike. Like
probably from LA,
dramatically.
yeah.
Like that-
I think
like-
direct flights from Austin are not going to change significantly. Direct flights or flights from most places in the country outside of the one hub that people.
Yeah, no. Well, that's like LA and San Francisco host a decent amount of the actual flights to Hawaii. Like they are general hub cities, and like the airlines have built their price models assuming like a certain level of interest, and so there is going to be a spike in price.
There are going to be like 250 people from North America as a whole that qualify for Worlds. That are like there's going to be maybe twice that going, but like that is a number, but that is not such a significant number that it's going to tremendously change airline prices unless there's like 7 or 8 people qualifying from one relatively small airport.
I feel ya. So you're saying it's just burst enough that it won't be spiking things too much, but the hotels we're all going to be going to the same place.
Yes, like there's going to be 2 people from Austin who qualify, right? Like the Austin to Hawaii flight is not going to change, right? Houston is the same, right? Like the 4 people from Houston to Hawaii that are booking flights are not going to change it. Is kind of my thought.
Yeah. Also, good bit. It was a good bit, Jimmy. I saw that you mentioned the Pokemon Sleep World Championships. That video was pretty funny, pretty amusing. So, some good, some bad from announcements that came during this week. But yeah.
What I will say, if they wanted to do this, like you said, they have to have these dates ahead of time. They could have done this exact stunt at the Latin American Championships, and no one would have complained because that would have been a reasonable time frame.
Yes, totally. So yeah, if they wanted to make it some kind of like promotional something or other, they should have done it way back then. Anyways, yeah, actually, the Grandma's Cooking mentioned a good thing, Audie, is that there's like a decent amount of casual people that are also attending that you have to factor in, not just the World's invitees, There's other people that are looking for the World States. Yeah, we're all in the tub. We're having a good time. It's April 1st. That's why we're in the tub. Okay.
It is. I'm still struggling out here. I'm still sweating through my.
Yeah. So I called you out. He's like, "Bro, are you okay?"
Yeah, I saw.
Yeah, I agree. They should have at least kept it to Pokemon Day. That's at least a couple, a good deal back. That would have been a lot more reasonable.
And,
okay.
Alex, what you said about Los Angeles is you didn't want to sign up for a tournament where you didn't know the rule set. Well,
right.
You want to book flights for a tournament where you don't know the rule set, right?
Yeah. We do, by the way, kind of know the rule set now. For Worlds. Yeah, we're doing Reg G right after the preview for EUIC. But yeah, the thing is, the format was announced. Oh, that was the bit. Man, I forgot this bit already. But okay, they haven't announced the World States, but they announced that Reg G goes through August 31st. And I was like, okay, so that means that Worlds is going to be played on Regulation G. But technically, we don't have the dates. Like, what if they're just like, yeah, it's actually September. Like, it's a different format. I saw people making jokes about that. But
I would love that. Just fresh format Worlds. We've had one of those ever, and I top cut from day one. Like, give me some more of that shit.
Yeah. I was gonna say
Worlds every time.
I was very hyped going into Regulation D Worlds, but obviously there was so much going on that it was like one of the worst Worlds I've ever been to. But the idea of a new format Worlds is kind of interesting. I do want to talk about one topic on that regard, quick before we move on to just finishing the EUIC preview. Is people were talking about it on Twitter recently. I think I saw Zach Carlson put out a tweet about it, talking about how like Worlds used to be like a culmination of like the best players putting forward their understanding of the current format at Worlds, playing the format that they've been playing all year and showing why they're the best at it and how they like figured it out and solved it. And when the formats change as quickly as they have been lately and people qualifying from so many different formats, it definitely changes the approach, the vibe of like, winning Worlds for that year. Like, I won Portland earlier this year with POW Night, and a team like that is probably not going to have much relevance to like what will win Worlds when it comes to Regulation G.
You say that, but
that's
going to be good.
That was the one example that you couldn't give. Yeah.
Yeah. Sure.
GM power with an E-speed is going to be relevant the entire generation.
Yeah, I did, Rajan. You can say, Rajan, you can put your congratulations in the chat now. Anyways.
Wait, I thought Donald won Portland.
That's true. He did. But yeah, 2019 was a different story because it was kind of like additive the whole year around, and so that was like kind of similar. 2018, we played that the full year. 2022 was like a similar-ish case because we played that for the whole like year that we were playing VGC. But anyways, yeah, I'm just curious like what your guys' takes on that. Adi, how do you feel about it?
I don't have strong opinions about whether it needs to be the very end of a format or in the middle of the format, right? Like if you look back at Ultra Series, yes, it was kind of the culmination, but you also look back, it was kind of the midpoint of the format. We actually had the format for about as long as we had as we're going to have Reg G, I think, right? And so it didn't feel solved going into the World Championships by any means. And I thought 2019 Worlds was pretty fun. But yeah, like in comparison to 2022 Worlds, it kind of felt like everyone just brought the team that they felt comfortable with. It kind of felt like there wasn't a ton of evolution. That was another format where we had it for just a little longer than this one. So I really think that the 4-month period is kind of the sweet spot where most formats are. I think usually I'm having a lot of fun with the formats around that time, so I don't mind it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm skeptical of Regulation G. We'll see. We'll talk about that in a little bit. But in general, I don't mind having Worlds about. I think that it's the sweet spot. 3 or 4 months into a format, it's developed enough. It's not totally crazy. It's not the Wild West. You don't get to build to beat, but there's still enough creativity that people come up with new ideas and makes Worlds really fun to watch.
What about you, Nick?
I think that stale formats are really not great. I think there's something to be avoided. So I lean towards 2 to 3 months as the sweet spot for formats. And they also, I think that I love the evolving decks that they had in Gen 8 and they have in Gen 9. Phenomenal change. I think that they could roll with.
Adi, is there a bug?
Yeah, I found a spider.
Okay, it's not anything scary. Actually, it's southern spiders that might be scary. Anyways,
I mean, it's fine, but
yeah, so
it's be there.
like, where was I? Shoot. The still formats. The size of the changes that the formats have had. Like you don't need to have seismic shifts every time. You can drop like a half dozen mons and make it a new format just because of the way that like meta forces work. Like you're gonna have a new like top tier of mons, and then things that respond to that will rise, and just the entire meta shifts really heavily, even off of smaller shifts than they've been doing. Like dropping 14 paradoxes at once was just too much. Like they could have done a separate list of paradoxes, and we could have played like 50-50. I don't know. Like just the vibes are good from the overall shape of like changing the meta every few months. Just they can walk it forward at a slower pace and take advantage of meta dynamics that will just let things change. Like we shouldn't have gotten our Shifu
So true.
a year into we wouldn't have gotten Fluttermane 2 or 3 months into the gen. Like I think like getting access to the Ubers this early is probably a bit early as well. Like we're not gonna. We played the NetDex Worlds last year, and so we're going to be playing 1 Uber Worlds at this Worlds, and we're going to be playing 2 Uber Worlds at next Worlds, probably, unless they've got funny stuff planned. If they've got funny stuff planned, then I'll hear them out. But,
yeah, no, I'm
I
wondering.
They have funny stuff planned. I strongly believe they have funny stuff planned. They tested out some funny stuff last generation, and I think
they did have Series 13, and if we're going to be playing
and Series 10 and Series 6, they had 3 different funky formats that we could see.
Series 6 was poorly like the result wasn't good, but I'm fine with walking back power levels. I think that's something that just gaming companies generally try to avoid, and Pokemon seems like they're in this boat because you don't want to tell people that they can't use their favorite toys.
My favorite toy Flutter made. Everyone's favorite.
No,
Pokemon.
Nick put this well. Nick put this well the other day in chat. He said like, they don't subtract. You know, they hate subtracting. They only like to add.
Yeah. If you've got your team that you love, you will always be able to use it for the rest of the gen.
And update it or whatever. But yeah, they don't like to.
Or not update it if you love all of your guys. Like
yeah.
We're not going to turn it off, and that's like valid. I'm not going to tell them to not do that. Just they sprinted the progress forward, and I think that you get just as different of a format if you slow the pace down. Like adding all of the ruin mons for Reg C, that was an appropriate level of change. Wo-Chien sucks. So 3 meta-defining mons, just like y'all can remember, it very heavily shifted the meta.
It did.
Despite only adding 4 mons, and that is like that's how it works. You just don't need to make big changes, and meta forces will skew things. And yeah, that's.
By the way, to remind people of what the formats were that they did in Sword and Shield that were kind of like the experimental ones. We had Series 6, which was a remove the top 10 Pokemon format. Mind you, they removed the top 10 of both doubles and singles. It was kind of funny. So that meant like Hippowdon was not VGC legal, despite, I don't know, Hippowdon never really making an impact over here, but it was pretty strong in Battle Stadium singles, bring 6, pick 3. So that guy got banned, and like Mimikyu got banned, and we saw a pretty funny format. Adi, the champion of that one. Then we saw Series 10, which was a weird like mix of two things, because Series 10 was the one that was single restricted, which was new for us. We had not played single restricted before.
No, it wasn't. Yeah. Series 8 was one restricted.
Sure. I guess Series it was new to Gen 8. But yeah. we had Series 8 that was single restricted. I guess that counts as experimental too, because we had not yet done single restricted. Then
that one seems like they planned out, right? Like their entire season for this last generation and this generation kind of revolved around single restricted.
It does now. It seems like it's just part of the rotation now, but it was new then. And then Series 10, well, I guess Adi knew. Okay, yeah, Series 10 was no Dynamax and a single restricted. It was weird. We actually never got a true no Dynamax format. I don't know if we'll get like a true no Terra format. That would be like the current equivalent. And then was there another experimental one that I'm Series 13, which was mythicals. They allowed us to use mythicals like Mew, Magearna, Celebi, Victini, those type of Pokemon.
And I want to we've had this argument in Tub, but I do want to point out none of them were in the top 15 in usage in Series 13. Granted, Series 13 allowed every single like unlimited restricted to mythicals, but I really don't think that having a format where maybe one mythical is legal is going to, along with restricted beside it, obviously Magearna is significantly more powerful than a national dex level format, but we're not shocking to see mythicals come off. I really do think that we're going to see at least one format with that. I
hope that they make accessibility good for those guys, at least, because that's always like a worry, especially with how harsh the hack checks are now. Wouldn't want to see anybody getting ripped off from some Magearna they got traded years ago that they thought was legit and tried to bring to a tournament only to find out that it was a clone or a hack.
Poor Gary.
Yeah. Yep. Okay. Let's preview EUIC though, and we'll definitely talk about, future format type stuff, because we do have a new format to talk about at the end here. EUIC was won by Miguel Martí de la Torre, who what is their username again? I'm forgetting. Sekium. Okay. Won back in 2017 format. It was in the 2016 year. It was actually the first tournament in format for regulation. It was just 2017, bro. They didn't.
The best tournament that we've ever had in VGC.
Honestly, I wasn't there, but I would say Nick is right. Probably the best tournament we've ever had.
My biggest VGC regret is not attending this tournament.
No, like I agree. I think this was right after I was in college. Hadn't gone to any events yet, but watching this, knowing a new game released, and then less than a month later having everyone throw their like these brand new Pokemon at each other was just an incredible learning experience and really got me back into VGC after the horror show that was 2016. So I agree. I think this was, at least for a spectator, one of the greatest events ever.
I mean,
players, I know there were a lot more problems with it, including the lack of chance.
Okay, there were some hiccups for sure, but the actual gameplay was peak Pokemon.
The timeline. What was the timeline? It was
2.5 weeks after game drop, I think.
That's insane. Not only did players have to speedrun it, but they also had to figure out, like, what's good. Obviously, there's tools like Pokemon Showdown and stuff to, like, test things out before getting things ready in-game, but, man, it was such a crap... Not like a crapshoot, but, like, it was just, like, such a... You had to... The fast track everything.
You had to figure out your first take, polish it up as much as you could, and load it up at the tournament.
And this was not just a regional, it was an international. That's just so awesome.
International, yeah.
I
hope that they do this every gen. They haven't yet, but they should.
It's so cool. Yeah, similar...
It is peak VGC.
Similar vibes, honestly. Like, I think first in a generation tournaments are usually pretty spectacular anyways. I had a lot of fun playing at and watching Dallas 2020 for the first Sword and Shield format, even though Dynamax turned out to be god-awful. It was still fun the first time. Then there was San Diego, right? San Diego, which was also really cool.
Yep.
As we say on Tub, every format gets one good tournament.
Yep, the first one, yeah. Every format is fun for the first tournament.
So I hope you're going to Indy.
Yes, Indy will be the first in format for Regulation G. It's going to be a lot of fun if you're going, honestly. Now, let's talk about names here, though, that we expect to pop up. Desu, second. Somebody who, just got second again in the Global Challenge to Edu. Ben...
Honestly, don't forget Seki. He got top 8 at Liverpool Regionals, I think, or top 9th or something like that. Like, he's been grinding too, and he's been doing pretty well. So yeah, he's making a comeback. I think he's a big streamer too, right?
Yes, I believe so.
Yeah,
I think he transitioned into just life content. I think people just follow him for like he'll just drink coffee for 3 hours and talk to chat, and he gets 600 viewers. I might be spreading misinformation, but I'm pretty sure that's what happened when I tuned into one of his streams.
That's my dream. Well, please, yeah,
right? Somebody correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure that's kind of like he probably does still play games and stuff on stream and whatever. And I can't. I haven't watched too much of his content, but
it's a good gig if you can.
I promise you subscribe to Tub Nation TV. I will never play a video game on stream, but I will talk at you for 4 hours. I will drink coffee and talk at you. You can do that.
But yeah, Ben not likely playing. I think Ben might be a confirmed commentary. I can't remember. I think they've already announced the staff. Maybe I can go back here. Streaming. It might be on this page somewhere. But yeah, let's see. Oh yeah, right here. Ben didn't look like he made the count. So maybe Ben's playing. He has played at tournaments that he wasn't casting in Europe. So Ben might just be playing. Let's see. There's a lot of other names here that I could expect to do well. Nils, is Wolf going? I actually don't know. I feel like not.
I thought he was.
No, maybe
he had got his Worlds invite, and so he was only going to do internets, and that's it, right? Or something like that.
Okay. Yeah. Maybe Wolf. Okay, somebody said he is. So Wolf is going. Yeah. Let's see. There's a lot of other names here. Alex Gomez. Billa is here, though I don't know. I can never tell if Billa is going to be playing or staffing. Eric Rios here. Arash. Edu all the way down here, squeaking it at 32nd. Francesco Pardini. Yeah, let's go talk about the next one, though. Funnily enough, the same format a year later. It was the last tournament of the game. It was
the same format a year later? Okay, Boomer.
Yeah, true. Honestly, good take. Good Tub take. And so, yeah, that is pretty funny. They bookended it that way. And this one was won by Simone Sanvito. Sanvi over Pokealex in the finals. Pokealex does have a habit of making it to the finals of these internationals. I legit forgot Carson got top 4 at this one. He won a Internats later in 2018, right?
Yep.
So yeah, I actually don't know if Carson's in attendance though. I feel like not.
No, he's not.
And then like I see like Pato, Nils again, Edu again, Ray Rizzo. Honestly, don't take Ray Rizzo. I'm last in the smart money pick, but please don't steal him from me, guys. Please, please, please. I would love to grab Ray. I don't think he's playing. And then we're starting to get a bit more recent here in 2022 in Frankfurt. This was won by Eric Rios with Rinya Sun. It's time to start looking back at these.
On this finals, by the way.
What's up?
There's a breakdown. I have a breakdown to the last couple turns of the finals, which is really interesting. Check it out on exclamation point YT. I'm not kidding. No, it was a really interesting finals. Yeah, Eric and Owie, right, got second, and that was a really, really fun tournament to watch. That really inspired our 2022 runs, which is a really fun time for the Calrix Ice game. You should know, hey, maybe coming back.
True. I mean, this is like the stuff you kind of start to look at. Restricted Pokemon doing well. We're not going to see things too differently, except if you see a Xerneas or an Yveltal, just know that those guys are dead and gone. Yeah, I know, Nick, big Xern fan. But in terms of names, I would say all of the top 4 are likely going. I guess Cassie as well. Javier Valdez, I'm not 100%. But yeah, Marcus probably playing.
Yeah.
And then let's see. We talked about Taran earlier. I think Aaron Trailer is going. Pato. And yeah, there's a lot of names. I'm sure that we have enough for the 3 of us to pick 3 names for Smart Money, but let's talk about the last one, the most recent one. And then I forgot to talk about the Travel Award race. I think that was somewhere in here. I can't really make it bigger, but Geo.
If you click on it in top, I don't actually know if I posted in top.
That's fine. This works good enough. Yeah, we have Geo, Joe, James, Riley.
We're skipping over the 2023 results.
We're gonna go back for it. We'll go back for it. I promise. I just forgot about doing this.
So this is interesting because I don't. So the EU one, obviously, everyone's gonna be attending. The NA one, like I'm not actually sure who's attending, but it's top 8 get a free trip to the North American Championship. So it's a lot bigger deal for the Europeans because most of these players are probably going to NAIC regardless.
Yes. Yeah, and so a lot of the top NA players are going to be ones that you could expect to travel out. I don't think Gary is traveling out, and I know Zach is not traveling out either. Those are just like Seattle local updates for you. We're
also posted saying he wasn't going to.
Who was it?
Number 7. So Neil.
Oh, okay. By the way, which of the Hoj brothers was it that didn't make it in? Was it Nikolaj? I don't remember.
I don't know.
I remember one of them didn't make it in, but a lot of other names here that I imagine will absolutely be in attendance and looking to lock in their, free money. Nikolaj, am I saying it wrong? Nikolai?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, but yeah, won't be in attendance. Good to know. But yeah, a lot of people that want to earn that travel award to NA. Let's talk about the 2023 results. We saw Paul Chua win over Agati. They were running very similar teams here. Wait, Nick, why are you wanting to talk about the 2023 results? I'm missing something here.
I'm a big fan of Sahad.
Oh, okay.
Sitting there at 10th place.
Let's go, So. So is going.
He is going. I don't think Agati said he's not going, but Paul Chua is, of course, I think.
I think so, yes. He tweeted out...
I feel like all the New York players go, just because it's so cheap to fly there from New York.
Also, Agati is not going? Is that I forgot. We talked to him just a little bit ago.
He said that on Tub Takes.
Yes, I'm just not remembering correctly. Yeah, James, off a hot regional win, going to be in attendance. Oh wait, no, is he? He's not going because he didn't make it in. James didn't make it in. Right.
Wait, so can you scroll down a couple places?
You want me to get to 16th?
Hypothetically, it just seems like a good way. Like that's the cutoff for points.
Yeah,
Yeah,
true.
that 17th place. That's Desu again. He got second at the last one. He's pretty good,
Desu,
over at
no.
17.
Nick, are you going? Are you suggesting I pick you for smart money?
I will not be in attendance because I have completely checked out of Reg F. But good luck to all the players who are going.
All right. But yeah,
If you
Julio.
want to hear more about the team that I used at this tournament, it's a report on Adi's channel. I think it's one of my best.
True.
You can learn about the meta from your
Adi, you can't just do !YT every single time. Anyways, yeah, can you imagine for the people watching this on YouTube seeing how many times that you're linking the YouTube channel while you're watching on YouTube? A lot of more similar names. Lucas Arbelli, Matty Morgan haven't been mentioned yet, but Victor Medina, Pato, Alex Gomez, Davide Carrere, a lot of good names. Let's go ahead and knock out smart money now, and then we'll move on to talking about Regulation G. Nails, you are up first. Who do you want?
My smart money is going to be Justin Burns and the group that he's been working with. I think they've been cooking. There's a lot of good players in that group, so I'm taking Justin.
Oh, so that's Tub, right? He works with Tub?
He does work with Tub. He might be working outside of Tub as well.
No. Adi, who are you taking?
So I'm picking a player who has just popped off in the Global Challenge, has gotten second at one of these tournaments before, and notably, you didn't pull it up, or you didn't really emphasize it, is ninth in EU in the travel award race, and so has to be very, very motivated to do well at this tournament to get that free trip to New Orleans and finally escape Columbus. Maybe get a second taste of America. It's going to be Desu. I think Desu is going to take this tournament down.
All right, cool. Let me go look because I didn't think of a backup, and that was obviously my pick. I wanted Desu. I'm a big fan of the Tingdozo archetype, and who else has been hot lately?
Picking Desu to win the tournament.
That's a good point.
He's gotten second twice before.
Hey, this is the year. Chuck also, got second 6 regionals and then got first at one this year. So
Dave got second in the Global Challenge. I think Desu for second place is pretty much a lock.
Lock.
Picking him to win, that's a stalling take, honestly.
Yeah, the almost smart money.
The bar for smart money is not very high anymore. I think I won last time by getting the top 64 at Vancouver. So
yeah, it is in fact.
Last time I came on Tub Takes and smart moneyed somebody, I got the winner. Roxon backed me up, and so I'm currently on a winning streak for smart money.
I'll take Alex Gomez. Alex Gomez is somebody who came off a pretty good finish at his most recent tournament. I think it was like a top 8, and I know that he wants more, and is probably going to be pretty familiar with whatever he's running for this format. Honestly, I think PokeAlex is also a Tingdozo player, and so I'm just picking Tingdozo because I love that archetype. It's very silly, very fun. And I mean, obviously, he used Tingdozo before anybody. He used that to win NAIC, so Tingdozo's GOAT there. Okay. The fun stuff that everybody's been the fun stuff that everybody's been waiting so long for. Regulation G. It was announced. And it is kind of what everybody was like theorying. It lined up this way. Regulation G was going to be single restricted, and sure enough it is. Which means you get one Pokemon from the list of restricted Pokemon. Which means that you only get to have one Mewtwo. It's so unfortunate. Everyone's going to be picking Mewtwo. And it's going to be a lot of speed ties between them. Mewtwo, unfortunately, hits itself super effectively with Shadow Ball, which makes the mirror really toxic. And not to mention, it just has such strong coverage. You just can't switch into this Pokemon. Yeah, Nick, you can talk.
It's got expanding force.
Nick, you can attest to how strong Mewtwo was back in Gen 1.
It sure was strong in Gen 1. Oh boy. Yeah, it's probably the strongest Pokemon ever. Mega Rayquaza gives it a run for, like, Gen 6 Mega Ray gives it a run for its money, but yeah, just it goes so fast with its amnesia. The entire Uber's meta in Gen 1 is just about countering Mewtwo. And unless there's been new developments in the game, since then. I expect to see a bunch of Mewtwo's. So.
No, back in VGC 98, when we got our single restricted format, it was the most toxic meta we've ever seen. Mewtwo was pretty much on every team. And we didn't have Incineroar back then, mind you. So Mewtwo was just like so oppressive back in VGC 98. And then
Can't believe Arcanine wasn't a dark type. I can't believe it.
yeah, it's true.
Such a big oversight.
We didn't even have the dark type. The dark type.
Mewtwo can't tear a dark. How am I supposed to beat other Mewtwo?
Just explode on it. That's fine.
You guys are high AF. Mewtwo is awful. It gets outsped by Flutter. No, we're talking about back in VGC 98, before you were born. Gosh.
No. Twitch chat does not understand what a bit is.
Despite the fact that we're sitting in the bathtub right now.
I'm glad Game Freak keeps adding toxic Pokemon Mewtwo to his
But you're probably asking. You're like, yeah, you know what? Maybe Mewtwo isn't good. You might be asking, Alex, Adi, what restricted should I use if I shouldn't use Mewtwo? In which case, I have got a YouTube video for you! Exclamation point YT. I mean, we have a whole tier list with every single restricted, how good every single one is. So if you decide that you don't want to use Mewtwo for some godforsaken reason, we do have something for you.
It gets Aura Sphere, for instance. That's true, actually. On flawless coverage on this Pokemon. Now, so let's talk about the Pokemon that we're actually expecting to see. We could, go one by one through all of the restricteds, but Adi and I did a fine job talking about that in our ranking video. So, instead, let's look at this tier list. And Nick, you weren't there for it, but I'm curious if there's anything that you strongly disagree with. I linked it. I'll actually link it because I'm not sure.
I link to it in the document.
I mean, I've just got the stream open.
Right.
And muted the correct way to watch this. Yeah, I am curious by your placement of Dialga Origin Form.
Mm-hmm.
That one I can answer. I think I think that Dialga Origin Heatwave Bear is going to be a very strong combination. I think that setting up Trigger beats a lot of the stuff. It has steel coverage to deal with Calyrex Ice, which is the other Trigger guy. I think that combo specifically, I think, has a lot of potential. You could see High B a lot. I think it is a step lower than Lunala. I think Zacian and Terapagos are probably a half step lower than the other four. But that's kind of why I thought it was A tier, and Alex kind of just went with it.
Yeah.
So I actually do think Zacian is I think it's comfortably A tiered. The format desperately wants. It needs to have the only answers to a lot of the format are just fairy types, and since we don't have Xerneas, rest in peace, my beloved, Zacian is the only restricted fairy type, and so that is going to be Zacian's niche, and it's going to be probably kind of anti-meta, but will nonetheless be pretty good. You are committing a lot to having your own restricted try to be anti-meta, but it's got a great speed set and outspeeds Koridon and Miraidon and threatens them with
the tub is cooling down now, and so I'm curious what you guys' thoughts on this tub take. But is Flutter going to be 80% usage? That's where I'm imagining it to start, and Zacian is really good at responding to that specifically. But I don't know if you guys disagree in that it's going to be less than that, or if you somehow think it's going to be more.
80's a lot. I don't think we're quite at Sun Series Instant, which ended up finishing around 85%, which is the highest usage we've ever seen by a pretty solid margin. I wouldn't be surprised to see it break 70, but 80 is just it's an extra 1/3 of the teams that don't have them on suddenly have it. It's a mon that you're going to be talking about whether you have it or whether you cut it, but more teams will be able to justify cutting Flutter than Sun Series and Sinnoh.
I think 70% usage is definitely doable. I think that's probably 60 to 70 is probably a reasonable benchmark for me.
Yeah,
if I had to guess.
Yeah, it just matches up and synergizes so well with a lot of the restricteds. You know, it's going to have the ability to outspeed Shadow Rider and dunk it with a Shadow Ball. Fairy is really good into both of the bikes as well as all the returning dragons. And it pairs well with Groudon. So, and I think it can also take what's that?
And Koraidon.
And Koraidon, yes. There's just like
Really good
a lot of reasons to use this Pokemon. Thank you, Rajan, for that take. Hot take: Flutter is shit this format. Honestly, that is like, why aren't you in a tub right now and on cam? That's what we need you for doing.
I tagged him. I said I wanted to see him in the hot tub, and he did not respond.
I know. I asked him in call the other day. He's busy. But anyways,
I do have some more thoughts on the tier list. So I think that Miraidon is underrated. Just the fact that there's all of the Iron Pokemon that synergize with it.
Name one. Name one good one. They're all shit.
Name two. There's one.
Yeah, there is exactly one good one, so name two.
Bundle and Hands.
I think Hands.
Pretty straightforward.
I think Hands will not be great with Miraidon because they share a ground weakness and a fairy weakness and offensive coverage. Like, they just kind of like don't add a lot. They're kind of just like two of the same guys. Even though they
okay, but if you consider that it's an AV Iron Hands that also has an ability is Spore Immune, gets its electric stab boosted by more than just like it gets the Quark Drive boost and the just electric train boost. Like, it's hitting crazy hard. It's the numbers go funny.
Yeah.
Sleep on Iron Hands at your peril is how I feel about that, and I think that just being able to go along with those two specifically. There are some others that I'm less certain of, but I mean, Bundle's obviously good, and I would be surprised if Hands isn't good. I think that Groudon is a little overrated as well in your rankings. I think that it competes for Sunsetter with Koraidon, and Koraidon is just probably going to be better. Precipice Blades is a hell of an attack, but it has to carry a lot harder in single restricted, and there isn't.
So I've got one Groudon take. Yeah, go ahead.
Well, just that if you want Precipice Blade, if you want the spread ground type damage that P-Blades offers, Lando Eye is right there, and offers a similar thing with Sensor Storm. It's like Intimidate immune, so Instant can't switch into it, and you just get to run some other setter and not be forced to like opt into Groudon if you want just the ground spread move that wipes out boards.
So, Audie, go ahead and give your Groudon take. What do you have to say about it?
I think the reason to run Groudon, I think that all the restricteds are probably all of the best 5-6 restricteds are probably similar power levels. Groudon is the Sunsetter that synergizes the best with the other Sun abusers, namely Raging Bolt. Right, Raging Bolt Koraidon feels very awkward, but Raging Bolt is undoubtedly the other than Fluttermane, the strongest photosynthesis one. And so I think the fact that you could put Groudon next to Raging Bolt and a Fluttermane, and that 3 Pokemon combination is so powerful and doesn't really have any type overlap, and it has good defensive synergy, all that stuff. I think that's what really makes Groudon so powerful, is the partners it can enable.
Mm-hmm.
I forgot. If you want the third Paradoxmon that goes with Miraidon, it's Raging Bolt. That's my third choice.
Sure.
You got us there.
The other Dragon Electric type.
Yep.
You didn't get us there.
I mean, genuinely, just the Electric Terrain Thunderclaps go kind of crazy. You can still run a booster energy on top of that and get your double boost. The Terra Electric booster, Electric Terrain Thunderclaps are going to take a lot of OHKOs that they probably shouldn't.
That is funny to think. Yeah, there are a couple of Pokemon that go between that way. There's I mean the oldest one was Sandy Shocks. We had Sandy Shocks before we had these DLC guys, and that was a funny one because it's proto but could use electric terrain. And then
but we just haven't had viable electric terrain the whole the whole gen, and so we've had a couple of guys that love their booster energy, or either Bundle loves its booster energy, and Hands just has been going abilityless.
I don't know if we ended up
Basically,
getting anybody in the reverse sense where there was a Pokemon that wanted that has Quark Drive but could enjoy the sun. I think we just didn't get any fire types.
There's the one
Iron Moth,
okay,
yes.
Iron Moth, yes.
Yeah. Iron Moth's a funny one because that also is kind of like a go between that way. And so yeah, it can kind of use both. Raging Bolt is technically one too. And then we have like Iron Leaves and Iron Crown who can use other no, Iron Leaves just uses electric terrain. Iron Crown really like psychic terrain. That Pokemon's so funny because you can't use Expanding Force while also being activated by Quark Drive unless you use Booster Energy. It's kind of sad. That Pokemon's stuck between like Indeedee and I don't know. It's a very unfortunate situation for that Pokemon.
Rajan, get in the tub.
Yeah, Rajan, you have way too many takes, bro. You have way too many takes to be not naked in a tub right now.
All I'm saying, Rajan earlier yesterday said that this was Sparta's best format, so just don't take anything seriously.
Unless you think it's Sparta's best format as well, in which case get in Rajan's DMs. Now, there's a lot of Pokemon that are going to be good though in this format, in my opinion, in terms of like restricteds. I think we'll probably see a pretty wide pool. Obviously, it will narrow over time as we learn like certain ones are just better or easier to build than other ones. But I like what we have, just like looking into it. People have already been playing the format. It's already live on Showdown. And so the meta will develop fast. We'll see tournaments being hosted in this next coming week. And once EUIC happens, everyone's going to come at this format with full force. So it's going to go fast, but I think anything down to Kyurem is going to be like just viable and maybe tricky to build, but you can build a competent enough team with it that, will win matches. Maybe it won't beat everything. Maybe it'll have some bad matchups into certain other restricteds and you'll have to, round that out. But I think we have a wide pool.
I can give the same Ho take that I give every like restricted format. Ho is always going to like be the best third restricted for your team. And doubles Ubers, which doesn't have any restrictions on the number of Ubers you can use. Ho is like one of the most used mons in the format just because it wins damage trades against everything.
I think Zamazenta is also pretty highly used there too, right?
I'm not totally sure.
I think I've heard that, but
I believe it. Like Zamazenta also just kind of wins damage trades against a lot of things. But yeah, in single restricted and double restricted formats, you need your Ubers to be carries. They need to. You just need to basically farm the Lilliputans as efficiently as you can. Xerneas was incredible at that. Shadow Rider, incredible at that. Ice Rider, of course, also great at that. Water Spout and Precipice Blades, very good for that. Miraidon probably in that same boat. So those are the ones. Those are the mons that, if they're on synergistic teams that can respond to opposing Ubers, just kind of get to go the craziest and farm the hardest. So that is like probably the right way to be playing GS Cup. And so
even white Pokemon, right? Like everything down to maybe not Dialga and Terapagos, but everything other than those two.
Yeah, both Dialga farms. Lunala probably farms pretty efficiently if it's Meteor Beaming, and it's got a pretty solid support kit. So that's the one that can break the mold. But I still think Lunala is probably better in dual restricted than single restricted because it's pretty targetable and doesn't have the same level of like spread damage. I'm going to kill both of your mons if you let me. And so you have to play around this very explicit thread that is on the board now, and I'm clicking it. And Lunala doesn't, like, it's just less consistent at murdering everything.
Mm-hmm.
Still can win its damage trades, but
yeah, good bulk on the Mon. It's got Meat Beam, which is fun. But
it's got Talon and Trick Room, it can wide guard. It's got a lot of good options, and none of them are on the level of Water Spout or Astro Bears or Glacial Lance or any of the best spread moves that the top guys have.
Yep.
I don't remember if it gets Expanding Force, but it's probably also not the best Expanding Force clicker, even if it does get it.
Yeah,
I mean, we've seen. I could see it being a Trick Room team. People try, like, think we have Armor, right? And people don't really use that right now. But it does have the same kit as Armor in a lot of ways.
No, it doesn't. No, it doesn't. It's different.
It's the same 3 attacks. I mean, it's a Ghost move instead of a Fire move, but like, it's 3 attacks Trick Room a lot of the times. It has White Guard as well.
It's got the Fake Out immunity on the Psychic Terrain team.
True. True.
It doesn't. It's got Meteor Beam to blow up Incineroar, so if they let you do that, that's pretty cool. But if they switch out of it, then you're walled by Incin even at +1. So it's just got some stuff to solve. Not that it's going to have a good finish at some point. Just I would not have put it in A tier. I would have put it in B.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I think it will enjoy Terra at the very least, both Shadow Rider and Lunala. A lot of these Pokemon have to be looked at through the lens of Terra.
Oh yeah, that is one of the more obnoxious things about this format is you like just the all of the Ubers are going to be using Terra in a decent amount of games, so making sure you have good lines set up to like just flip the script on attempted counters is going to be important, and that's going to be just a big part of the format.
It's a reason why after making this list, I almost want to put Terapagos back down to B, because it kind of uses the generational mechanic poorly, in my opinion.
I disagree.
You think?
I think that Terra Starstorm just lets you lock your opponent out of clicking Terra for the turn or they die, and then you can just safely set up pins with, say, a Scarf Urshifu or a Landorus or whatever you want to use at the time to pin and say you're dying if you Terra and you're dying if you don't. I think Terapagos is quite viable.
I definitely think it's viable, and I do think that's the best way to do it, is to use offensive Pokemon to force out defensive Terras. Because, Terras, when we use Stellar Terra, the Starstorm will be just super effective, and that's going to be obnoxious for people to deal with. So, the Mon's got really incredible stats, but I also think the fact that it has to Terra to unlock 700 BST is very... It doesn't seem good. It doesn't seem good.
That's what I was saying is I think that you're going to want to Terra your restricted a lot of the time anyways.
Right. So I agree with that.
In specifically one restricted decks or one restricted format, being a Terror Hog and a restricted is not a big deal. It's just like fine. It will make your other ones a bit weaker, but the value proposition of just blanking your opponent from getting value out of their Terra and also stopping them from getting value out of weather or terrain, that's a lot of stuff going in its favor. Don't ask me what the rest of the moveset does, because the Mon's move pool is whack. It does absolutely nothing.
Right, it does one thing.
That one thing is probably just like game breaking, so you can make it work.
I do think that I was originally kind of skeptical of my restricted being a Terra Hog, but the more I thought about it, I think it actually is pretty reasonable, just because so many of these games are going to turn into like protect the restricted, right? Like that's just what one restricted formats a lot of times turn into. I think back to Series 10, because that was when we didn't have Dynamax in, right? It's a little different when you can Gigantamax your Charizard, but Series 10, it felt like protect your Zacian, protect your Calyrex, just find the perfect place to position those to take KOs. And I think that I think in that case,
Is, yeah.
well, but also just like I think that even outside of Terrapagos, you are going to want to Terra your restricted to get it in that position. And if you get one turn right, a lot of times your Caloric Shadow or your Groudon or your Ice Rider is going to take 2 KOs, right? And so I think that a lot of teams are going to be using their Terra on their restricted over half the time. It's not unreasonable for a team to do it all the time with Terrapagos.
Yeah, like Koraidon, Terrifier just gets crazy value. Because you flip the Fairy Weakness and kill the Flutter, and you get your stab, Flare Blitz, or Heat Crash, whichever ends up being the right way to go, and it's gonna wipe everything.
Something I was curious about, does Stellar Terrapagos, like when it terras, does it get any extra damage on its attacks? Like oftentimes the most common set I've already seen is Terra Starstorm or whatever it's called. Calm Mind, Protect, and Earth Power. And I want to know if it gets like the 1.2 boost on that Earth Power. Does it get a 1.5 on the first Starstorm? Does it get a consistent 1.5 on the Starstorm because it's considered like tearing into the same type or something? Or does it get no boosts at all?
1.3, but yeah.
Oh, 1.3, yeah, sorry. My bad.
4/3.
The 4/3 boost, that's what I meant.
But yeah, my guess is it does. I would be surprised if it didn't work like any other Stellar Terra.
The one thing that I can tell you about it is that its move is single target pre-Terra and spread post-Terra. What? Did you not know that, Audi?
This one, man. I didn't know that. This is so confusing. Every time I feel like I know everything about it, I learn another fun fact about it. It's totally
yeah. It has better multi-scale in the middling form. The baby form doesn't exist in competitive, so don't worry about that one that has like 450 BST. It transforms on entry into battle. And then it also so it has this better multi-scale because it takes if it's at full HP, it takes whatever attack is incoming and turns it into not very effective. Notably, this is better than multi-scale because of multi-hit moves. It will turn Surging Strikes into not very effective, and all 3 hits will be not very effective. And it's better into specifically fighting type attacks. If you're like a Lunala with multi-scale taking a Shadow Ball, it's still going to be like 2x damage as opposed to 4x, right? Because it's halved from the multi-scale. But if you take a fighting type move on your Terrapagos while its HP is full, it will invert the fighting type move to a not very effective attack, and so you're taking essentially a quarter. Or no, quarter. I don't know. Right. How's it going, Rago?
I can't believe this is my first time catching this stream.
No, you have to be lying, Little England. There's no way that this is your first time tuning into Tug Takes.
It says first time chat.
Oh no, I'm on my phone, but I believe you now. Yes. So I don't think I have the means, and we'll probably do this at a later point to pull up a tier list for non-restricted Pokemon. But what are some of the Pokemon that you think will shine the most, obvious or not? Just feel free to mention them, like, you know, the Pokemon that are going to be really good.
Yeah, I got
give me Tornadus. That guy's pretty good.
Funamate's okay. Amoonguss is pretty good, I heard. Incineroar, yeah. I think Torracat's gonna be good. You want some hot takes? I think Torracat is actually probably viable. Because it does better to Koraidon.
I'll take Farigiraf. We've named a ton of Pokemon with Fake Out and Priority. Let's block that. And kind of just goes ham against everything.
Rillaboom and Indeedee will be really good supporters for terrain disruption on top of doing their usual things. You know, Follow Me and Fake Out. So I think those guys are pretty noteworthy.
We're talking about doing a ranking of the non-restricted Pokemon. Maybe we will do that while we're not sitting in a bathtub.
Yeah, I just don't have the means to do it right now, Black Sleep. But I think we'll come back to the idea. I think it's a good one.
Yeah, no, I'd like to get on one of those in a week or two. A week or two. The format doesn't go live for a month, so there's time.
Yeah. Grimstar is a decent shout. I don't know if screens will or won't be good. It is helpful to make your restricted unkillable, but I feel like if screens weren't like already, I feel like they won't get stronger than they have been. So it might be an archetype, but I don't know if it'll be crazy.
I think it'll be good.
Grimsmall is a fairy type, and so is Klefki, and that typing is going to be at a premium. So that is a point in favor. Like Spirit Break or Dazzling Gleam are just going to be good attacks. So I would not be surprised if screens were at least playable. Or Ninetales if you're into that.
Thunderwave.
Team Rocket Elite asks, is Amoonguss going to be okay with all the electric terrain? And I think it will be okay because it's a wide pool, so not every match is going to be against a Miraidon. My also hot take is I don't think Miraidon's actually that good. I think like the Mon is very hard to use and very easily disrupted by Rillaboom or Indeedee, which are going to just be good Pokemon. But that's just, we're here to give hot takes, and that's what I'm saying. I don't think Miraidon's gonna be that good.
I think that Volt Switch is an awesome tool for it. You just get to like Tapu Koko and all of Gen 7 just got to if its turn got disrupted, you just Volt Switch out, chunk something into range, or a nuke after you come in and reset terrain later, and Rillaboom can also match that with U-turn, but it has to, and I mean, Miraidon's a dragon type, so it doesn't actually do big damage to it directly with grass moves.
We've seen that Raging Bolt has a pretty good like amount of bulk, and the typing isn't that hard to switch in, and so it can definitely switch in on a Rillaboom or a Psychic Terrain team and disrupt it that way, setting up that electric terrain. That it is surprisingly bulky and able to switch in Miraidon.
Mm-hmm. I think so. My take on the tiers, I think that Miraidon could be S tier, could be A tier. I think it's in between the two. Same with Ice Rider. I think those are the two that could make the jump. But yeah, I think I don't know. Like I think it just enables so many strong Pokemon that it's just so powerful. I think Bundle Miraidon is crazy. That's the one thing that I think is actually going to be really strong.
Oh yeah, I also want to. I think Koraidon is probably A tier, not S tier. It doesn't have a good spread move, and that is the differentiator, in my opinion. If you have a good spread move, you can farm better. If you don't, then you're just a lot more limited in how fast you can win the game.
Spread moves are good.
And, yeah. It's just a farm or be farmed format.
True. Feast or famine, or whatever they say.
Kill or be killed.
Kill or be killed. It's a dog. It's a doggy dog. It's a doggy dog world.
It's a doggy dog world.
Doggy dog world for sure.
It's a tubby tub world.
It's a tub or get taken world. I don't know.
It's a tub or get taken world.
It's a tub or take world.
But yeah, actually, no. Now that you're here, I was curious if you knew how Stellar Terra, or just Terra, whatever you want to call it, on Terrapagos works. Does it get a boost on its Earth power, and does it get a boost on its first Terra Stellar Star Storm thing, or no? Similar to how other Pokemon get Stellar Terra boosts on their damage. But speaking of that, though, I didn't want to run this the full time. The Reg G is not going to go anywhere, and Adi and I kind of did like a full breakdown of the tier list already. It doesn't lose stab on Starstorm, I'll tell you that much. It's a permanent stellar boost. So like a permanent 1.3. I think the Mon also gets stronger when it Terras. Like, there's so many weird calculations when the Mon Terras, Adi. Like, you're going to have to really get used to intuiting your damage when you Terra. Because you get, like, I think 130 to 160 special attack jump. The move becomes spread, so you have to apply the spread damage reduction. But then I think you also get the stellar boost, if that's what is being said. It does lose stab on Starstorm. What? What is this Pokemon?
So I mean, I am glad that we have a month before the first events because I think we're all going to need to play a little bit with this Pokemon. I think actually that I think I need to make a point to play with this Pokemon because otherwise I think you're never going to get the ins and outs of the mechanic, and you don't want to be facing the round 2 of a regional not really knowing how the Pokemon works. So especially if you're going to Indy, I think hopefully by Los Angeles, which is my next event, and Alex, I don't know if you decided to go or not.
To Indy?
But
No, not
at the
Indy.
very least, to Los Angeles.
Oh yeah. I haven't booked my flights yet, but I don't know yet. We'll see.
Okay, but yeah, I think that by then, hopefully, we'll have 2 months of experience with it that we can maybe feel a little comfortable with it, and hopefully by then I'll know the mechanics.
Okay, so nerd, it's effectively going for a 75 base power. What's the base power on the move? Is it 120 or 1?
It's like an 80 base power spread move after Terra. Like, is that right? No.
That's where I was going to move us anyway, is because I want to wrap it up so we don't have to sit in these tubs forever. Let's go to the Calc is right, and this is going to be the first one. Let's do a Terapagos Calc. And it's a 120 BP no stab. So that's what's 120? Isn't that 90? After spread.
Do you have your calc planned out already, or do I have to turn the stream off?
I do not have mine planned out yet. So, by the way, if you guys had one you wanted to go first, or if you have a better Terapagos Calc, let's hear it. But I don't really know.
I've got a calc ready. It's just...
All right, Nick, let's start with yours.
Okay. Mine's very basic. Level 1 of the format. You're gonna have to know how this works. It's Life Orb, Max Special Attack, Timid, Shadow Rider, Expanding Force in Psychic Terrain against Miraidon.
Okay, that's a good one. No bulk Miraidon?
Yeah, no bulk Miraidon, no funny business. We switched to our DD to set up Psychic Terrain to block Sucker Punch on our Shadow Rider. We're defensive Terra on the Shadow Rider, so we don't get any extra multipliers. Just Life Orb V-Force into Miraidon and Psychic Terrain. Spreading Force.
I got a number.
All right,
I don't know where I got stats, but I got a number.
I am. I'm ready as well.
What you got?
Who you picking?
Hottie.
All right.
Hottie, go first.
I think it's killing. I think it's doing let's say 108.
Okay. I think Miraidon's the classically specially defensive version of the legends. It's gonna have a special attack stat and a special defense stat. So Miraidon is gonna take a 88. Let's look.
Okay.
Calyrex, Shadow Rider, 252, Timid with a Life Orb. The move is Expanding Force. I won't change the terrain yet because Miraidon's just going to reset it. Now, Psychic Terrain. I think I have everything here, Nick. You said it was just Max Special Attack, Life Orb, Shadow Rider, Expanding Force versus Miraidon?
Because speed ties matter. And yeah, it does 78 to 94. So Alex was in range and Adi was not.
Yeah.
Right.
It does a ton of damage, and if you manage to lead the MDD and can get a helping hand off, it's always going to kill. If you have a Terra Psychic, so it's going to kill, but you need one more. If you get a Chiyu going there, even the Astro Barrage with a Chiyu is going to be a damage roll, or not quite a damage roll.
Oh, you also could Terra Stellar on this guy.
You could Stellar Terra on the guy.
That's funny.
But yeah, you lose out on your ability to defensive Terra.
Yes.
Speed Boost Water is probably going to be packing Shadow Ball a lot of the time. And that's one of the main Cali ghost checks. So
Adi, let's hear your calc. What do you got?
All right, I also have one of those calcs that you got to know to play this format, and it's also a Miraidon calc. So now we know Miraidon's defensive calcs. What about the offensive calc? We have it Miraidon using its signature move. Is it something Collider?
Electro Drift.
Electro Drift. That's it. Electro Drift. So 252 Timid Life Orb Miraidon using Electro Drift into calc default Incineroar, which if I recall correctly is 252 124 Careful.
236, 124 Careful. Okay.
Sure.
And how much was the offense? And do we have an item? What was it again?
It's 2 timid life orb Miraidon.
Okay.
With
Timid life orb again. So we're doing some timid life orb counts. Okay.
Because speed ties matter. Yeah.
Because speed ties matter. It's true. Okay. I'm ready.
I got a number.
All right, Alex, what you got?
84. Let's see it.
All right, Nick.
I got 85.
All right. I respect it. Nick's thinking it's a little more juice than I'm giving it credit for. And he's gonna Price is Right me, or however that show works. I don't know. 86.5.
It's a roll to kill. It is a roll to kill, right?
Wow.
Yeah.
That's funny.
We suck, Alex.
Yeah, we're not ready for this format, man. Yeah, it looks like you were in there with the 95. 100 was also in there. Unless that was for the last calc. I might have missed it. Anyways, okay. I don't even know the answer to this one myself, but let's figure out. This is going to be a lot less of a nuking attack. So let's figure out how much, but I'll make it super effective. Let's say you convinced this same Incineroar to Terra defensively because you had like an Urshifu or something. So you convinced the Incineroar to Terra, but now your Terra Terapagos is going for Starstorm. Not any boosts, not any item, because it's like Leftovers Calm Mind. We're just unboosted Starstorm from, let's just say Max Modest, because I don't know.
Max Modest, okay.
Yeah, I don't think it's going to run Max Modest, but I don't feel like making us think about another, like, EV spread.
No, it's his base. That's fine.
So Max Modest, Terapagos, Terrastal, Stellar, whatever, big form, going for Terra Stellar Starstorm into a Terra Incineroar.
I've got a number.
All right, I got a number.
All right, Nick, you're first.
98. I expect it to kill, but I think it'll be a roll.
Adi, what you got?
I will be very disappointed if this move doesn't kill. So I'm going 92.
All right, it's the same Incineroar, but I think I clicked Terra here, and yeah, I don't know what you guys were thinking. This Mon, hold on, does it not get like more special attack?
Did you terrestrialize it?
I did click the button. Oh, it goes up from 105 to 130. I thought it went from 130 to 160.
Yeah, no, the Terapagos.
I did. I thought it went from 130 to 160. It's actually from 105 to 130. Man, this guy might suck. I was thinking of the HP stat as 160. Oh my god. Anyways, Naman does 59 to 70 if the Incineroar is super effective. And this is max modest. This is as juiced as you're going to get unless you run a item. Of course, Calm Mind is also going to be a pretty viable set on it.
Okay, follow-up question. How much does Meteor Beam do to the non-Terran Incineroar?
From the same guy?
Yeah, from the same guy.
Yeah, it does get it. It does learn Meteor Beam. The Meteor Beam is doing the exact same amount. But wait, this is Terra Water? Okay. So it's just killing.
Yeah.
It was funny that it was doing the exact same amount, though.
And then if it Terra's out of it and we Meteor Beam earlier, the +1 Meteor Beam will pick up the kill on the cat.
Right, +1.
Cat.
It will barely have a chance to get there.
It's going to be a roll. But...
Yeah.
Yeah. What was that, Nick, about this deterring Terras? I think this is literally going to Terra just fine.
That's kind of how I'm feeling.
That's like fair. I still think that the Mon is going to be good for the reasons mentioned. Like Incineroar is not doing too much back. Like you can just switch out if you get parting shot and you need to. Like it'll be fine. It'll be fine.
I'm happy to be proven wrong on this Pokemon, mostly because I just don't have a very good understanding of it.
Yeah, no, I also have not played with it yet. So there's a lot of Theorymon and a little bit of Copium regarding that special attack stat.
All right. That's going to do it for this episode of Tub Takes, of actual Tub Takes.